let's finally have a conversation about Lorelai Victoria Gilmore. Because there's a whole lot to say and a lot to go over about her. She is somebody who, again, when we watched the show way back in the day with mid-2000 goggles, is the hero of the tale. When I watch it now, to be honest, and I'm not going to go as far as to say she's the villain of the story, but she's definitely the driving force for a lot of bad stuff that actually happens. And I also think that Lorelai is maybe the biggest case of privilege obscuring somebody's bad actions that I've ever seen in my life. Because for this to be a show about mothers and daughters, to be honest, she's not that great of a mom, and she's definitely not a good daughter. I also don't think she's too great of a friend, but that's a different video for a different day. But I'm not here to just beat up on her, right? Because there's so many really great qualities to this character, to this person that is Lorelai. We weren't all just like, oh, she's so pretty, anything that she says and does is so golden. No, she is quirky. She is charming. She makes us laugh. She gets us into her Lorelai fun world that it's kind of hard to see when she's the problem. You know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of that friend that will do something in a situation and they're clearly the ones who are in the wrong, but they're the one telling the story. So when they frame it, they're like, ugh, the cops totally pulled me over even though I was speeding, but that cop was looking to give somebody a ticket. What a jerk, right? An excellent example of this is Lorelai leaving. Now, her whole thing is, my parents are so mean, my parents are so suffocating, but when we actually look at the flashbacks, the parents are just really regular parents with really regular rules of the house. Oh no, we didn't want our teenage daughter having sex and doing drugs and getting pregnant. What a bunch of meanies. When she actually left, her parents were letting her stay in the house for free, but she had such defiance oppositional disorder that she couldn't take it. She had to leave and go live in a shed with a baby, with no infrastructure. And I get we're all like, yay, hero, protect your peace. But also, it's a little bit of a situation that you caused, and you made it a whole lot worse than putting that baby in danger. If not in danger, so to speak, we'll just say it wasn't the ideal situation, and it could have gone better. Another thing was her relationship with Rory herself, where we can all agree that Rory had to do a bit of parentalizing. Like, she had to grow up a little bit faster. Basically, her mom was in this new town, by choice, isolated, didn't have any kind of social structure, so that baby grew up to be her best friend. And on paper, that sounds great. Who doesn't want a mother-daughter best friend duo? But also, what we don't think of is that means that little girl had to age up to meet where her mother is aging down in the best friend, and that's not good for a parenting relationship. And to be honest, we see where those blurred lines are a little bit to Rory's detriment. For example, the handling of the Dean situation. We can see a lot of times where there's animosity, when things aren't all cool and copacetic, when they're not best friends, boom, Lorelai's like, no, this is not the dynamic that we have anymore. We're not Gilmore Girls. I'm the mom, you're the daughter. And Roy's like, that is not the agreement that we both signed up for. Hence, Rory going to go stay with her grandparents because Lorelai couldn't handle that Rory wanted to have things different than what she wanted them to be. And then there's her relationship with Luke. A situation where they portrayed to be the love story for the ages. The love story for the ages, by the way, being her date guy after guy after guy, and him pining and waiting for her for years until finally she's ready on her own terms, and then they can be together. And that is the nature of their relationship, is that everything in her life has to be on her terms or it's a no-go, no compromise for anybody else. And again, on the one hand, since she's the hero telling story, we're like, yay, girl, go, girl power, you get yours, don't compromise for anybody. But also completely understanding the fact that in any given relationship, for it to work, there has to be compromises. It can't literally be my way or the highway all the time, or you break those bonds and make it really hard for other people to be in your life. And I'm not saying that she's being a straight up monster on purpose for this. It's a thing where I honestly don't think that she's aware of it. For example, in A Year in the Life, when she's talking to Luke, and he's like, everything's on your terms, and she thinks he's picking on him. She's like, what? Everything's not on my terms. When you look back at that show, there are no relationships that are not solely and completely in her purview. Like, she's like, I need to control. He just finally said it out loud. Christopher being the first one to get a taste of this. When you look back at that episode, she, honest to God, couldn't care what Chris wanted. It was all about what she wanted and what she was feeling in that situation. And again, on one side, that's valid because she's the mom. But again, it's that thing where nobody else input to her really, really matters, because at the end of the day, she wants what she wants. And if somebody else doesn't give her what she wants, or the relationship dynamic isn't set up how she wants, she really, really doesn't like that, and it is untenable. And there's a scene in A Year in the Life where Rory talks to Christopher, and they kind of glaze over it. And they don't hit as impactful as that scene should. But Christopher talks about way back in the day and not being as involved of a father. He talks about how that's what Lorelai wanted. That's how she wanted it set up. And when she has something in her mind, nobody's going to get away from her. In her mind, it was her and Rory thugging it out. Christopher is not really around, and Christopher is too passive of a person. Like, he's not gonna fight that. You can't fight Lorelai Gilmore. One of the reasons we love her is because she's a hurricane in a body, you know. And so, again, I'm not saying she's the villain. What I am saying is that the way that she is, so defiant, so uncompromising, so unwilling to give in to anybody's anything, that it causes a lot of trouble in just about each and every single relationship that she has. She's complicated and a great character to watch.